What up, y'all? Man, what a week. Got a haircut. Needed that. I was starting to look like Driving Wheel. Can't have that. I don't know, man. Been thinking a lot, and so this is the after show from the Time Lie Love and Terror Cult Propaganda by Magazine after party extravaganza. And like, perception's a crazy thing. The whole reason that we're at this point in this story, in this continued deep dive, is because on the whole, society doesn't want to look at themselves. They don't want to look at the fact that these are their kids. So, as long as they can point the finger, well, it's Charles Manson's fault. It's the love and terror cult. Our kids would never do that. Their kids take acid and listen to the Beatles and hang out with long-haired hippie guru motherfuckers. Not us. My kids, I did the best I could. That's what everybody tells themselves. But did you? Did you really do the best you could? I don't know. I mean, that's the whole thing. Perception and intent. People and their feelings, their fears, their biases, their projections. Things aren't good or bad. Things just are what they are. We filter everything through our own neuroses and through our unprocessed trauma and through our expectations, and then we project that onto people, places, and things. Say, for instance, I want that job. That job is the job that job's gonna make me happy. That job's gonna be the answer to everything. When I get that job, my girlfriend will be happy with me, and she'll love me more, and she'll want to be with me more, and she'll stop talking to other guys, and then she'll be what I want. And if I just do this, and this. And so if the person gets that job, if they get the girl, then that's good. But if they don't get the job, or if their girlfriend breaks up with them, then they're like, oh, well, that's bad because that's not what I wanted. When in reality, it's none of those things. It's what we filter it through and then project onto it is what it becomes to us. So, this instance with the Manson case, we've got an entire society of people who filter this through their fear and project that back. They read this article and then they filter that through their own fear and through their own failures and then project that back out onto people. So, if you haven't, check out the initial live stream that Nancy did. She does a lot of research. She does a lot of work, and it's good work. Like, I agree with a lot of what she comes up with and how it's presented. So, with that, here we go.
Desert blind, whispers of a twisted mind, found paradise in hell, stories only he could tell. Of a broken dream, followed his unholy scheme. Promised lands through bloody hands, swept beneath the devil's plan. Manson serpent's eyes in a devil's glance. Heaven's shattered by his word, preaching madness so absurd. Hope crushed in wicked fire, lost souls swayed by desire. In the dark they found their king, caught in webs his lies would bring. Children's laughter turns to cries, echoes of the night's disguise, promises of pain and chains, left them wandering insane.
Right, hi everyone. Yes, after shows are a bit less organised. Jeremy's going to join in a minute, I think. I've sent him the link. Pleasant break from the current horror show we're witnessing, isn't it? To go and talk about something in the past. It's just like, oh my god, what is going on in the world at the moment? Pastor Jonathan Hill's in the break, only to find him beating a rubber plant with a hammer. Don't ask. And yeah, James just choose that something. Yeah. Oh, we all beat our rubber plants with a hammer on a Sunday night in England. Yeah, it's an old tradition. Yeah. Well, no, he's American. This is well, yeah. We don't have, though. We do have evangelical pastors. Yeah, they're not as televised as the ones in America. Yeah, it's quite different. The evangelical church in this country. He's probably setting his computer up. He has to plug in another camera and all that. Yeah. No. Did you see the Bill Vance stream that I had? Bill Vance did have a film developing place. And that is published in The Family as well. I was working from the interview that's in the Ed Sanders files, but I think it's also in The Family. He published that in The Family at the time. But no, Bill Vance was the one who could process and develop stuff, apparently. Crazy. But yeah, that's in the Bill Vance interview that's in the Ed Sanders files. I did a stream, I think it was about 2 weeks ago, called Manson Wasn't the Only Man or whatever, yeah. The cameras and all that. Ah, right, yeah, that's probably what it is. Is he watching a game? Yeah, he said he'll join for a bit, so maybe. Oh, good. You're doing mushrooms, are you? As well. Oh, God, yes, I saw that. In the film about her, there was a documentary where he filmed her walking into the room where they were going to give her the lethal injection, and they played it, didn't they? Yeah, that song, Carnival. That's another weird case as well, where it looks like the police knew who she was, but they wanted her to kill 5 men before they caught her, so they could sell her story, basically, like because they saw how rich the cops who busted Ted Bundy got. And yeah, that's really horrible as well, because she should have been really easy to catch. Yeah. Oh, there's Jeremy.
Hey, y'all.
There you go. Yeah, all right. Yeah.
Happy Super Bowl Sunday, right?
Yeah. I was at the Super Bowl as well. I had quite
Yeah.
considering that then, because I had up to 50 at one point. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, no, you had
Yeah.
great turnout considering. I mean, like me, I was watching the game and listening to the stream, so,
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, people.
2026, you can definitely
Yeah.
multitask.
And I don't know how that worked on Substack as well. I don't know if there was any chat for them on Substack, or if someone said they were watching it on Substack, so they found it, but I got
And
no notification of it,
I got a
and I can't find it.
notification for
You
Substack.
get a notification, right?
Yep.
I'll have to look at my emails because I should have. Maybe I received the email, and I'll be able to find it through that.
Mhm.
Crazy. Yeah.
Natalie Merchant, Tiger Lily. That's an audiophile album right there. That's good stuff.
Yeah, and they were saying Aileen Wuornos. That was what she was listening to as they gave her the lethal. Or that was her favourite song, wasn't it? That's what she wanted to listen to as they gave her the lethal injection.
It's not a bad way to go out
Yeah,
if you can pick and choose.
yeah.
I don't know what Natalie Merchant's ancestors used to do, James.
Yeah,
Look
Natalie
it up.
Merchant. Yeah, it's her albums, wasn't it? Yeah.
hmm Yeah, it's a great album too. Tiger Lily's good stuff.
Yeah, I had that album somewhere. I've got it somewhere around, I
But
think.
yeah, 90s kids,
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
for sure. That's a good stream tonight, though.
Yeah, well, I say it's very hard to find those articles exactly, and I was shocked. I couldn't believe it as I was reading the Time one. They actually say in the article, "Oh, he's only being held on car theft charges at the moment, though," and they've just said all that, all that shit that all that horrible dramatic language and that. It's like,
right.
yeah, but he's not even been indicted for this yet, though. Yeah, he's just on car theft charges at the moment. So by the time it was published, he had been technically, but yeah, it's like, oh, fucking what?
Well,
How did they get away with this? How did this happen? It's ridiculous.
and it's like Sam Smith said too. Whitley and Gunther knew from
Mm.
the middle of October, like they knew who did it.
Yeah. Well, I've heard that they knew almost immediately who it was, and they just didn't want
Yep.
it solved because it was so fucking messy. They didn't want it solved.
And when
You
you
know.
look at it from that angle, it makes sense why the LAPD were
Yeah.
so sloppy in what they did and
Mm.
fudged the blood evidence the way they did,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
almost intentionally obfuscated everything.
Yeah. And the press got in. They didn't secure the scene because they were still looking for the killers in the house. They didn't secure the wider scene quickly enough. So
Right.
the press got in and were all over the fucking place before anything could be
Everybody
secured.
trampled all over the evidence and tracked
Apparently
stuff
they
everywhere.
they they put a sheet over Abigail because the flies were all over her, and then they pulled the sheet off her and just left it at the scene. So anything that was stuck
It
to
was
that
stuck.
sheet, it was lost. You know what I mean? Any hair that was in her hands or anything, because they found brown hair in Rosemary LaBianca's hands.
And
Yeah,
then you look at
she'd thought was Leslie or Krenwinkel, hadn't she? Yeah.
you look at the fact that they went and they got them all in that Spawn Ranch raid, which
Mm,
what their reasons for getting that warrant were kind of suspect
mm.
in the first place.
Yeah, and Tom
Um,
O'Neill said there wasn't really anything wrong with the date as well. He
nope.
proved it. He found it. Yeah, there was nothing wrong. And someone has said there's some inside police officer has said we were told to stand down on it for some reason.
Right.
We weren't happy about it, but we were
And,
told to.
and so, like,
Yeah,
once a warrant's issued, it's not like you've got to go serve it that day. Okay, that's
yeah,
the whole thing. Like, it's still
yeah.
good for however long because the warrant's still valid, so
And
they
they had
still
to
want those people.
coordinate all the bloody helicopters and
Yep.
armed officers and that, didn't they? Because they knew how many weapons they had and that.
And
Yeah,
that's what leads me to believe that they knew who they had, and that's why they were going there to pick all of them up, because you don't get helicopters and coordinate the SWAT team and go in there on this giant sweep and clear
yeah,
for just a regular old little car theft situation.
yeah, yeah,
Like
yeah. And
that doesn't
that's
make
all
any
they thought
sense.
they were for. Yeah, yeah. But
Doesn't
if you
check
read
out.
the Spun Ranch raid report, it says Manson, when they came to the gates of Spun Ranch, was stood there saying, "Yeah, I've got guns pointed at you right now." To the cops, there's guns pointed at you right now. Sort of thing. Yeah,
He
yeah,
told them that when they'd come out there
yeah,
to visit too, like
mm,
or when they
yeah,
were out looking for
yeah. They weren't.
runaways and stuff. They
Yeah,
weren't
they
there for
weren't
the
trying to
raid.
arrest anyone. They weren't trying to raid
Yeah.
them. But Manson just casually said to him, "Yeah, there's snipers pointing guns at you now, though." Yeah, yeah. No wonder they fucking raided them so heavily and had all those
For
armed
sure.
officers and that. Yeah, yeah.
Absolutely.
And people
Yeah.
were complaining about hearing them firing machine guns in the desert and that, weren't they? They were.
And then my ultimate point in all that is that they had them in custody and they
Mm,
knew who they were and they
mm,
still let them go.
yeah,
Like it wasn't until for real, like even Kitty Lutzinger and Stephanie Schramm escaping wasn't quite enough. It was Susan Atkins
yeah.
blabbing to everyone in the jail constantly that was what really got them caught up.
And I reckon her lawyers prompted her to do that as well. So her
Yeah.
lawyers were already in there. Who were they working for? Making sure that she told the right story. Didn't mention anything that would be uncomfortable for the rich people that were involved.
Like Lookmill says, O'Neill completely
Yeah,
exposes Gunther, Whitney, and Aaron Stovitz in chaos as they all contradicted each other. They all knew immediately. And that's why Aaron Stovitz got removed from the case.
yeah.
Okay. Because I don't think he was going to go along with Helter Skelter.
No, no. And the whole thing just is crazy. Like Bugliosi admits to it all as well. Like the guy who's what was he called? I always forget the bloody names of the people. But the guy whose garden they hosed off in, and he caught them
Right.
hosing off. He admits in his police interview. If you read his police interview, Bugliosi's already spoken to him. before he's even been interviewed by the police. So he got told what to say. He got given the right license plate number because when he asked, "How do you know the license plate number?" he said, "Oh, I shouted to my wife to write it down. That's how I knew the license plate number." Yeah, and what time it was as well, because that's supposed to have happened at 1 a.m.
Right. When in
when you're still
reality,
hearing people screaming up at Cielo Drive and that. So it's like, why, if the Manson family were there, who the hell was still screaming at Cielo Drive? Yeah, yeah.
yep.
The whole thing is just fucking totally. None of it adds up when you actually examine it, and
Well, they planted all of this, and like people have said, maybe MK Ultra wasn't, at the forefront in how the government may not have planned all this, but they
yeah.
certainly had their hand in manipulating the
Well,
narrative after the fact.
they were distributing the LSD, weren't they?
For sure.
It was literally, and that is provable. That ain't just a conspiracy
Yep.
theory. The CIA were actively forcing LSD on, but not forcing it, but encouraging people to use LSD, weren't they?
And like I said, we've already
I think if
established.
anything, maybe the Manson family were given CIA LSD at some point to sell. Maybe that was what was going on at Mendocino or whatever. Fucking
we
to
we
that
already
extent. Yeah,
we already established that there were undercovers there at Spawn Ranch, and
yeah,
so it would be super easy for somebody to just show up with a bunch of that government mind control acid and be like,
yeah,
"Yep, my name's Sunshine, and here's a bunch of sunshine," and just
yeah,
hand that stuff out to everybody, and
yeah.
you know,
And apparently, it says in Texas psychiatry report he smiled whenever he said orange sunshine. Whenever they talked about orange sunshine, that made him smile. So
out
he
of
knew
all,
something about the orange sunshine. That comes from the Brotherhood of Eternal Love, the fucking bikers that make acid. Yeah,
for
yeah,
sure. And
yeah.
then with all the drugs that they talked about, and all the
That's it.
drug
Rudy
dealing, and
Weber,
all
that's
the
his name.
all the
Rudy Weber's the
mescaline
guy.
and all the
Sorry, that.
meth
Yeah,
and
yeah,
all that stuff, they never talk about them dealing LSD for real.
yeah,
Like
yeah,
it's kind of backburnered. Either they didn't have to deal it because they were being given a whole bunch of it, or the
yeah,
government doesn't want. Yeah, CIA was dropping
yeah.
drugs. Like, yeah,
Well,
absolutely.
I think they thought it was meant to derail the anti-war movement. It was meant to just make people like be incapacitated, but it kind of backfired on them because a lot of people went through spiritual awakenings, and it changed society for the better in some ways, didn't it? Though I think it
Well,
did serve to derail the anti-war movement a bit, but
I mean, for me, I can only
there
speak
was a
for
positive
myself.
effect too. You can't say there isn't a positive effect from these psychedelic drugs. A lot of
I
people report having a positive effect from them, don't they? Yeah.
I can only speak for myself and my own experience with psychedelics when I can say that early on, it definitely was a catalyst that allowed me to unlock ways of thinking and a perception that wasn't previously available to me.
Yeah.
That being said, once I hit a certain point in the psychedelics, I was no longer getting those benefits from it. And in fact, I
Yeah.
can get to that place now without that.
There's a difference between use and abuse of them, isn't there, as well?
For
Yeah,
sure.
you
And
shouldn't
and I
have to take them more than a few times to get the actual spiritual result from them.
right, right.
They're not like recreational things you should drop every week just for fun. It's like yeah,
That's exactly right.
yeah,
And yeah, LSD makes people disassociate, and so that's,
mm,
I think, what the point of like having so much of it proliferated around. Even though people would have this
mm,
awakening, more people
the
on the
brotherhood.
whole
Yeah,
would use it as a distraction, and
yeah.
would use it as, yeah, to disassociate.
Now it says in that biography of Mama Cass, "Dream a Little Dream of Me." She got acid from Timothy Leary at Millbrook, so that would
Sure,
be pure CIA acid, wouldn't it? And she took that to Hawaii, the big famous trip that the mamas and papas went on just before they got famous in Hawaii. And they were given CIA LSD by Cass Elliot. She delivered the LSD.
I would have to assume that the majority of the LSD that was available in
Yeah,
the mid to late 1960s would have had to have either come from one of two places, or three:
yeah,
Brotherhood, Owsley, or
yeah.
the CIA slash Sandoz.
And the CIA apparently bought a shit ton from Xandos, didn't they? Yeah,
Well,
and then they learned to make it themselves, obviously,
or
didn't they?
or
So
was Sandoz an
yeah,
arm of the CIA?
yeah. Yeah. Well, Xandos was before they had made it before the CIA, didn't they? Yeah, that they're the
Well,
ones
an
who
arm of the
originally made it.
government though,
But it
because
was made by accident anyway, wasn't it? It's a fucking weird story behind it.
oh
It's
yeah,
like,
Albert Hoffman and the way that
yeah,
he first synthesized it and ingested it, and yeah, and then the next few days he took what he thought would be a small dose, and oh yeah,
yeah,
yeah, it's a
yeah, yeah,
wild story, um,
yeah.
but that might even be kind of not accurate. from what I've heard. Like that's been
Yeah.
embellished and exaggerated. So
Yeah. Well, he was trying to develop something else, and he accidentally absorbed it through his skin, didn't he? Yeah. And that's
right.
it. Yeah.
James
That's
Watson
about it.
buys mushrooms, grinds them into a powder, and put them in capsules. You're not the only person that does that, but I no longer do any. I don't do any drugs, but I
Yeah.
definitely don't ever want to do psychedelics again. Just I like the perception that I have now. I like the way my brain works now, so I don't want to
Yeah.
mess. But you do you, brother. Grind them up.
Yeah.
There are definitely worse things people can do for themselves. You know. Don't take the brown mushrooms. And again, so that brown acid at Woodstock, that's another misnomer. And it was supposedly purple, not brown, but also
Mm.
it wasn't bad. It was again all the people who were eating either too much or were taking it with other things like getting drunk and doing speed and taking acid and stuff. And it
Yeah,
was
there
a
was a problem at
combination.
Altamont. Apparently, it was so bad at Altamont they ran out of Thorazine. They didn't have enough
Yep,
Thorazine for all the bad trips that were coming in. But there was
exactly.
bad speed at Altamont as well,
Yeah.
apparently. And if you
Well,
watch the
it's all
footage of
bad.
Meredith Hunter, the lad that got shot, he looks like he's on speed. He's going mad with his jaw as well. You see him grinding his jaw. I
Yeah, he
reckon
was
he'd taken the
electric.
bad speed. Yeah,
Yeah,
he'd
he was
taken the bad
electric.
speed and was going nuts. Yeah,
He was shooting it up. He was sticking
yeah,
it right in his arm.
probably. Yeah,
They had established that. Yeah,
yeah,
read Joel Selvin's book on Altamont. Out of all the
yeah,
books I've read on Altamont, it's pretty much the final word. Nobody's researched it more than he has.
yeah,
He's
yeah,
gets a good one. But yeah, that's the thing too. All speed's bad. All speed will do that
yeah,
to you. They call it amphetamine psychosis. And
yeah,
so when you mix psychedelics with that and alcohol, it just causes this horrific toxic reaction. And so that was what was going on at Woodstock and what was going on at
yeah.
Altamont. They were shoving in those big half-gallon jugs of Ripple wine
Yeah, they were drinking wine and yeah,
with
fucking. There's
speed and
a book.
LSD in it.
What was it? The book. There's a book by a guy called Tony Scaduto about Mick Jagger. I read out that when I was doing my stream about Altamont because things that were said there were were crazy. Yeah, the descriptions of the audience, like 20-year-olds who look 40 because of all the speed and wine they've been doing. You know, that sort of shit. Yeah,
Yep.
because fucking everyone was aged by all the drugs. Because that was like at the end of the 60s, wasn't it? That was fucking the day after or before. Yeah, the
The
day
day
after
after the
Susan's grand jury
yep.
testimony. Yeah, yeah. And
And
then Fred Hampton gets assassinated the day before as well. It's like, what the fuck's going on? Yeah,
Emmett Grogan
yeah.
of the Diggers wrote on the club front San Rafael blackboard at the Grateful Dead's offices when they were loading up to leave for Altamont. He wrote, "The first annual Charlie Manson Death Love Cult Trip Festival,"
Mm,
as they were
yeah.
leaving for Altamont.
Fucking yeah. I wish there was a photo of that as well. There's some fucking footage of
Right.
them leaving, and I've seen there's footage where as the Rolling Stones are getting into the helicopter,
Hmm.
the dude turns round and shouts something, and there's footage where it's edited out. You can't hear what he shouts, but I've seen footage where you can hear what he shouts, and he glares really angrily at someone. He goes, "You stupid white boy." That's what he shouts if you watch that footage, because most of the time you can't hear what he says, but that's what he actually shouted. Yeah,
It did
don't know
get
who it
turned
was
into
at.
what it
You
was.
couldn't see who it was at. But the Rolling Stones fled at the end. You see them fleeing into the helicopter and just
Oh
fucking
yeah.
getting thrown off.
And
Yeah,
well,
yeah.
when they first got there, Keith Richard had been there
Keith was out in the
the night,
crowd. He went out in the crowd
he
apparently. Yeah,
stayed
yeah,
there the night before, tripped out and stayed on the grounds and hung
yeah,
out and thought it was groovy. But when Mick got there, the whole vibe changed. Mick got off the
yeah.
helicopter, starts walking through the crowd. Somebody just walks up and punches him right in the
Yeah,
face
I've seen
as soon
that.
as
I've
they
seen
got
the
there.
footage of that. That's caught on camera, isn't it? Yeah, yeah.
Yep,
It only
absolutely.
glances him. He doesn't fully catch him.
He
He
doesn't
manages
fully
to move
get.
out of the
He's
way, but
moved out
it
of the
does
way.
get him.
Yep,
Yeah, it's like, whoa, and he looks shocked, doesn't he? Obviously, yeah, yeah. It's like, yeah,
yep, yep.
yeah,
Everything changed that day.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Better have some Xanax or some sort of downer with the killer speed. Yeah, I used to eat benzos whenever I would trip like that. I would always have
yeah.
benzos on hand,
Mm,
Valium or Xanax.
yeah. That's they reckon diazepam is the thing to take. Valium is the thing
Yep,
to take if you need to come down off LSD if you're having a bad trip. That's the
for
thing to do,
sure.
isn't it? They
It's
reckon, yeah.
it's a bit
That's what
smoother.
they
It
give
says.
you in hospital, yeah.
Yep.
Or Thorazine as well, as if you're going psychotic, but that's more if you've been
If
given bad acid, or it ain't really acid, it's
you're
strychnine or whatever.
violent.
Yeah, that's it.
Well,
Yeah, yeah,
I don't know if there's any such thing as bad acid. Either it's LSD or
yeah,
it's not. Okay, and
yeah.
how
That's
that
it.
reacts with you
Yeah,
is what's going to make it quote
but that's
unquote
what I
good or
mean. It's
bad.
not really
Yeah.
LSD. They've told you it's LSD, but it's not. Yeah,
Right.
it's something else.
Right.
Yeah,
LSA is something that
Mm.
still gets sent around, and
Yeah,
people
there's
will
a
pretend that it's LSD and give it to you.
there's a site called the Black Vault where a guy, it's actually a British guy, got all the MK Ultra files under FOIA requests that he could, and he's put them on online there. And there's actually loads of files about that LSA and
Right.
all these other and LSD-3 and stuff like that. You know, like other types of LSD, other things they were working on that weren't. And
And,
Mae
and
Brussel was obsessed with the idea that they made a bad trip LSD deliberately, a LSD that was designed to give you a bad trip.
I believe that.
Yeah.
I do believe that.
Mm.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Um,
but there are all these documents saying they were experimenting with different variants of LSD, and what the fuck was that for? If it wasn't for that reason, yeah, if it wasn't trying to find one to use in interrogations or whatever, or yeah,
Special K. So ketamine, Special K, Johnny Rogers is it's really best used in a therapeutic setting. For me, I had very bad treatment-resistant depression, and I did ketamine infusion therapy. And so it's different when you have the
yeah.
human grade ketamine
But some
and
people it fucks up. Look what it did to what was he called? Was it Matthew?
Matthew
The
Perry.
guy from
Matthew Perry.
yeah, he
He
ended
was
up getting addicted to
addicted.
it, didn't
He
he?
was
Yeah,
addicted
yeah,
to it.
that's
Yes,
it. Yeah.
because it,
So
again,
there's an argument against giving a drug addict a new drug because they're just
here's
going
the
to
thing:
abuse it in the end, aren't they?
giving
Yeah,
them
that's it. Yeah, yeah.
unlimited access
Yeah.
to this
Well,
drug,
they
like his
didn't, did they? But you can get it on the black market, can't you? And he found that out as soon as he
he
got
had
back
a
to LA. It's a
doctor.
party
His
drug, isn't it?
doctor
Yeah.
got arrested
Yeah,
for
the
giving
doctors
him
got
too
busted.
much. So
And there was
so
some woman as well who was scoring it for him on the black market, but
yep,
she seems to have got away with it. But she was known as the ketamine queen
yep.
and all this shit, apparently.
No,
Yeah.
when used properly, again, in
Yeah,
a
well, you're meant to
therapeutic
just take
setting,
the course of therapy and then stop using it,
yep,
aren't you? Yeah, and then
right.
then it works. But yeah,
Used
yeah,
therapeutically, it's actually a very
yeah,
safe and yeah, immediate K-hole for me. But see, the thing was about that
yeah.
K-hole that when I take 90 cc's directly into my muscle, it throws me down in that K-hole. And any issues that I'm having, any problems, how you're saying it was rough for you, for me, I was able to like decompartmentalize from all of that and recompartmentalize it and put everything back in the place that it should be. And as I came up out of that K-hole, the difference between Special K and LSD is that in LSD you have the answer to all your problems and all the world's problems, but you don't remember it whenever you come down and you wake up. You're like, you're all scattered and whatnot. Special K, that piece is still there. That resolve, the recompartmentalization, it stays with you. And so if you use that in a therapeutic setting, like it can be very, very beneficial. Who you calling the K hole? K hole.
Mhm.
It is
I think
enjoyable.
you do have special K cereal in the US as well, don't you?
Yeah,
That's
it's
really why you call it
rice
that, isn't it?
flakes.
Yeah, that's
Yep,
it. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Rice flakes.
yep,
Yeah,
yep,
they have it
yep,
in the US as well. That's why they
yep,
nickname ketamine special K, isn't it?
yep. Special K. Where is one's K hole? I think it's different for everyone. Mine is in my
It's a
third
huge
eye.
problem over here. They've done documentaries about it because it's a crisis. Kids are getting addicted to it, and it destroys your kidneys in the end.
Yep, yep. It'll
So,
blow your
so
kidneys out. You're
So
not gonna.
Matthew Perry drowning the way he did, at least is better than what it would have eventually done to him if he had carried on the path he was on, because it only leads to your kidneys blowing out in the
Yep,
end. He would have
it'll
died of
wind
renal
up
failure. Yeah,
pissing
yeah.
blood.
If he
Yep,
didn't stop, he'd have died of renal failure. Yeah. So
for sure.
tragic situation. Yeah.
The Hollywood thing where you're a star, so people will do whatever you want, and like you can pay doctors, and they'll just come to your house and administer all these drugs, like Michael Jackson, like Matthew Perry.
Yeah. Well, he
Um,
was going to someone's office when he there was another doctor
yep,
that got away totally. He's dead now. He's died without any. But the nurse that had his babies for him, the woman that had his babies for him, was the nurse of this doctor.
right.
This sick circle, and he was going, and he was meant to be having treatments for acne, but he was obviously pumping them full of drugs that he was getting high on. Yeah, yeah, crazy
Prince
stuff. Yeah,
is another one who,
yeah, he was really anti-drugs his whole life, wasn't he? But he ended up with pain, so he ended up addicted to fentanyl, didn't he? So all
yep,
that dancing, doing jump splits, and being in high heels all the
doing
time fucked his
high
back.
heels and flipping
Yeah,
over the
yeah,
bass
yeah,
player and
yeah,
landing, doing the
yeah.
splits,
On those heels. Yeah, yeah.
and I'm like, man, I could
But
never
yeah.
do that. And it's like, well, you can, but you will pay for it.
And
Ed,
you're not supposed to stand up to play the guitar. That's for show, and that's really bad for your lower back.
Ed,
By the time
Ed
you're in your 40s or 50s, your lower back's fucked if you stood up for years playing the guitar. Yeah.
Edward Van Halen is another one who had to have a hip replacement because of how
Yeah,
he
and your
would
hips.
jump and do the spit. Tom Petty, yep.
Tom Petty's hips are gone. That's
Although
yeah, hips and lower back damages.
Tom Petty
That wasn't
didn't
from
jump
dancing,
around.
but just
Yeah,
from standing. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. And
Tom Petty didn't jump around like Prince and Van Halen though.
no,
That's
yeah, he didn't, did he? Yeah, he was more.
uh, more to say.
Yeah.
But still, yeah, it is. It's bad for you. I still have issues from this day, so
Yeah.
slinging a P bass over me.
And the woman from the Cranberries, who did
Dolores.
Zombie, the song Zombie, yeah, Dolores, she died from fentanyl because she had lower back problems. She was in pain.
Being a performer isn't the easy job that some people think it is.
No, that's it, because it looks like you're doing nothing, doesn't it? If you're a good guitarist, it looks like you're doing fucking nothing stood there, doesn't it? But they don't
Yeah.
realise that continuous weight and how much actually that is impacting your wrists and oh god, yeah.
Yeah, I'm reading it. I see you, Johnny. It was funny.
Yeah,
It's all right.
yeah.
Well, I'm gonna hop off and get back to my little Super Bowl soiree and see.
Yeah, well, if it's the Super Bowl, I might end this after show early. I thought I'd just throw on a temporary after show, but yeah,
Second
I'm
half.
pretty tired. I like to chill out for a while before I go to
Yeah,
bed as well.
for
But
sure.
thank you for coming to the after show, guys. And yeah, not sure what I'm going to do next week. I'm hoping that the Ed Sanders stuff is going to come back pretty soon.
That would be awesome. I'll
Yeah,
go
and
ahead
there's
and
other FOIA requests I've put in that I don't talk about because it might come to nothing. But hopefully, other FOIA requests I've got with LAPD will come back, or the LA Records Department. I might
I'll
have more
break
to
out.
share in the future. Hopefully, yeah.
I'll break out both copies of the family that I have, the original one and the abridged version, and
Yeah,
I'll flip through them at work and see what I can come up
the
with.
one with all the Process Church stuff is
Mhm.
on archive.org as well. If anyone wants to
Nice.
find it, and you can see it. Yeah, the one before he had to, and the transcript of the when they sued him is on archive.org as well. I've never
All right.
covered that. I will do that when I'm getting more into talking about Ed Sanders when all the Ed Sanders stuff comes back. Yeah, because he got
I
sued, and
love it.
Paul Fitzgerald had to come to England to testify. He's in the. It's crazy. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It's good stuff.
Okay.
All
Yeah.
my other Sunday podcasts canceled due to the fucking
Super
sports
Bowl.
balls.
Uh,
Well, at
you're
least
not
we're
into
here
it.
for
Yeah.
you, James. We're here for you,
Yeah. Well, for
at
another
least for
minute,
the moment.
and then I'm going. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Y'all
Fucking
be
hell. Well,
safe. Have a good Sunday.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Thanks for
Bless.
coming, everyone, and I'll see you all next week.
Yeah.